Casshern Sins, Episode 7. The Girl in the Tall Tower?
Woman.
Woman in the Tall Tower.
Woman of the Tall Tower.
I was pretty close.
Almost.
I mean, it's gonna be as good as it's gonna get from
It's
here.
close enough. They're synonyms. Woman, girl.
Oh, well, anyways, we're not gonna get into semantics at the moment. But yeah. So
what do you think about this episode?
I had a couple of problems with the episode, but I'll get to them in a minute. I really did like, there's obviously this woman in the tall tower, if you've seen the episode, who, wants to show everybody that there's beauty in this land. And I thought that was really cool. This girl isn't giving up hope. She still wants to kind of, press on and shine a light of hope towards other people by creating that bell.
Well, what I thought was that she wasn't necessarily going for that right away. I think she was just going for making her noise heard. I don't think she was trying to have any specific meaning behind it.
Well, she said she wanted to show that there was still beauty in this world. She'd said that. I remember her saying that. Now,
I don't remember that coming out until after, when she thought it was pointless, and Casshern's like, "No, you made me." Then that came.
Well, I think the thing is, she said that before, and the reason that he said that was to reaffirm her in her stance because of what happened when she rang the bell, and A, it didn't sound like she perfectly wanted it, and then B, the robots coming and throwing her from the fucking tower because they just were like,
"It sounds horrible. I don't like it."
The way I saw that playing out the way I saw that is that it was like, she was trying to show, beauty, and then they're just like, just let us, sit here and rot in peace. Like, don't disturb us by doing anything different or new or giving any sign of hope.
Oh, that's an interesting way to interpret that. I didn't think about that.
And you see, I really liked that, and I thought that was really cool that they would do something like that. So, I mean, and then Casshern comes along and, says, hey,
It resonated with me.
Yeah, it hit him, he's like, that was awesome, So, and then I like how later on OG and Ringo come along and, they're kind of like the first people that she's able to kind of try and instill that beauty is still around us kind of thing into them, even without her bell.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so like I said, I really like this episode a lot. The only thing my biggest problem and my only really problem with this episode is the fact that she goes stir crazy and tries to grind Casshern into the bell.
Well,
it just, to me, I really wanted to like her a lot more, but every time I thought, you tried to grind up Casshern into a bell. And I mean, while I like what it kind of showed for him, because he was he obviously was faking it when she tried to knock him out, and he's like,
well, he was kind of debating whether he should actually let her...
Right, because he's thought, maybe this is something that I can do to, make up for what I've done, be a part of something.
Maybe this will give you purpose.
Yeah, and...
But I've got a goal. I need to do something.
He's like, there's other things that I have to do.
I specifically probably need to seek out answers.
Yeah, he needs to get some closure with what he needs, and he needs to figure out what happened, who he is, what he's done. Because nobody's telling him shit.
Yeah, Dio kind of gave him, pointed him in a direction, I guess.
Well, for me, it's mostly Leoze. She's just like, I want you to figure it out. I'm like, just tell the poor guy. Now he's gonna wander forever trying to figure it out. But I guess I liked that. But it for me made me feel less for her because she was, psycho trying to murder Casshern and.
I thought it was interesting with how they initially kind of showed it it looked kind of like lust. Yeah. It definitely because she was just like, you're so beautiful, touching him and just the way she looked at him and just seemed to be pleasured just by
looking upon him
and
being close to him, and that was interesting and definitely showed how much beauty meant to her. And again, kind of goes back to the beauty is everywhere kind of thing. But I just wish she hadn't gone the route of, I'm going to grind up Casshern into my bell so that I have this beautiful man as a part of my bell.
Well, I don't think I didn't find a problem personally with her that act itself. It just kind of seemed, I guess, like how she was presented when she was doing that.
Well,
I think that her act looking kind of crazy, like her facial expressions kind of
well, for me,
was off-putting.
That's true too. I agree with that. But I would also say to that, like, especially when she's thrown from the tower, like, I feel like that would have had more impact if we had been more rooting for her, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I feel like I wasn't rooting for her as much because she was trying to grind up Casshern.
Well,
I would have been rooting for her a lot more if, you know, she hadn't, and that would have been... I mean, it was still a very, very poignant, like, scene, but...
It was understandable why she was trying to, though. She wanted... Because she said, like she said, there was, like, no silver or gold to make her bell out of. Or was it bronze? Silver or bronze, whichever one.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but...
So she thought that since he was, like, in such amazing condition that he would make a better sound than the shit, the crap, all these stupid crap robots that she got.
Well, I guess but we're gonna start getting into composition of it, because he wouldn't be able to make the bell with just his, you know, body. That bell was large.
Yeah.
So she would have, maybe he could have, but...
It just would have made a...
better sound with...
Metalloid, whatever. What's it called?
Metallic?
What's the compound? The word for a compound? Alloy. There you go. Alloy with him.
And I don't know how much that would have really affected the overall sound. And I mean, she seemed like kind of an engineerish kind of girl, so I think she would have realized that small amount of the bell probably wouldn't have done all that much as far as composition and how well it sounded.
Yeah, I think that's why she kind of went ahead and just made the bell without him anyways.
Because she didn't... Yeah. But anyway, other than that, though, I really liked it. I also really liked the aesthetic of the, like, tower that she resided in.
Yeah, the imagery around it, the gritty rust.
It really, honestly, for some reason, made me think of Howl's Moving Castle.
With, like, the weird crooked tower going up.
Yep.
And I didn't think about that, but I can kind of see why you'd see that.
Mainly because it seemed kind of almost steampunk to me, and...
Yeah, definitely steampunk looking.
Steampunk inspired, and that's, you know, Howl's Moving Castle is, you know, very steampunk in aesthetic, so... And that's kind of why I was making the correlation, but on its own, it looked very, very nice. It was a very interesting... That's the thing that I usually like about this show is, you know, there's always interesting locations that you discover as he makes his way along. And that was definitely... And this is probably one of my favorites overall in the series that I can think of. I can't think of any off the top of my head that I'm like, that one was, you know, really good. But I remembered this one as soon as I read the name of the episode. I was like, yeah, that one.
Yeah, I do like the episode. It's just... But to me, it's just, you know, it's just okay in my opinion. Two of my favorite ones are coming up. Next two are two of my favorites, but we'll see those.
All right.
Very soon.